Hi everybody, my name is Alan Ritchie and I would like to talk to you today about separation anxiety in our dogs. With the advent of our lockdown being eased now, we're all going to go back to work and thereby change our daily routines that we have been living in for the last couple of months. Now older dogs, mature dogs like this guy here, Otto, and many others obviously will be able to readjust quite happily. But our puppies and our adolescent dogs, they are going to find this difficult. This is going to be a big shock to their system. And really what I want you to do is you to prepare your dog for their new normal. Now at the moment we've been spending a lot of time with our dogs at home. And that has been their norm, 24 or 7 day a week company. This is the bit that's going to change. And separation anxiety is really removal of something in a dog's life and almost like a shock to the system. So really what we want to do is prepare our dogs for what life is going to look like. How is your dog, what's your dog's life going to look like when you're back to work? And I want you to start thinking that way. This is what we're going to gradually start feeding and easing our dog into its new way of life, actually being left alone for a certain amount of time. Now at the moment, if you already use a crate for your puppy or your young dog, then you might not have been using that crate for too long because you're in the house and there's no reason for your dog to be in the crate. It can sit in the living room with me and watch TV and all the stuff that we do. But that's not going to be the case in the next sort of week or two, I would think. So if you do use the crate, or if you're going to be using the crate, for example, when your dog is on its own, then we start using the crate now whilst you're still in the home. Do not do it at all the usual standard times, first thing in the morning or only when you eat. And I want you to do this at random times. We are so predictable to our dogs. As humans, we're habitual animals and our dogs study us, they read us. We create cues and triggers. Sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. Many cues and triggers will preempt the dog's stress, preempt the dog's anxiety. We start putting our shoes on in our work uniform or our work clothes, we pick up the keys, we make a big fuss of the dog, and then we go. And then we leave the dog alone, hoping for the best. What we've really got to do is test this just now. At the moment, you probably wouldn't have seen any signs of separation anxiety in a dog because you've been with your dog all the time. But let's not leave it until you go back to work to find out if your dog is stressed. Start doing the little tests just now and start preparing your dog just now. Tests, for example, could be if your dog has never been left alone, this is where we need to find out, how does my dog act when I do leave? Set up a smartphone in the area that your dog is going to be left, whether it be the hall or the kitchen or the crate. Leave the home for just a couple of short minutes and then see exactly when you go back and find out, you have a look at your video to see exactly how your dog has been acting. This will give you an idea of how or what it's like to look like when you do leave the home. So first and foremost, whilst the family are still in the home at the moment, I want you to start using, whether it be the kitchen, the hall, or your pen or your crate. Start using it in small increments. If you put your dog into that particular area where it's going to be left when you're at home and the dog starts barking or panting or whining, do not re-enter that room. Timing is vital at this point. What we don't want to do is kind of patch it over. A lot of people kind of take the easy road out. My dog's barking in the kitchen, the neighbour might hear it, I'll just let the dog back out. It's the worst thing you can do. You have to kind of grasp the nettle here. So if you've put your dog in the kitchen, your dog instantly starts to complain about being that, by being vocal or barking, etc. Do not re-enter that room. You have to stand and wait until such time as the dog becomes calm. You're going to teach your dog that you're rewarded for calm behaviour, not rewarded for shouting and barking, tell me to come back because you want my presence again. This is where the whole process takes time to do it. Time is vital. When your dog is barking, you stand still, stand quiet outside the room. As soon as your dog gives you that calm, nice, quiet behaviour, we'll look for a few seconds with it. You walk back in, good dog. Give your dog praise then for that calm behaviour. Let the dog back out. You might want to repeat that process many, many times during the day, increasing the time that has been left in the kitchen, for example, by just a few minutes, small increments all the time. The next stage we're going to go to is actually leaving the house. Now this is where I want you to think about what your day is going to look like and start simulating you going to work. That might involve you putting on your suit and tie, or your work uniform, your boots, your jacket, and actually leaving the home. Now there's a right way and there's a wrong way to leave a dog. If you make a big event of you leaving, we are creating excitement. Excitement creates adrenaline. Adrenaline feeds anxiety. If your dog is feeling anxious, oh my goodness, you're going to be left alone, and you start making a big event of it, then you're actually making matters worse. Start thinking about what time you're going to leave. For example, if you leave the home at 8 o'clock in the morning, you should have had your dog walked. Good physical exercise is going to help the dog be calm. Mentally stimulating exercises as well. When you bring your dog back in, don't leave it to the last minute to put the dog in the kitchen before you leave, because the dog's already seen your triggers. You've picked up your keys, you've got your boots on, you've got your uniform on, etc. So put the dog in the kitchen maybe 5 or 10 minutes before you leave, 15, 20 minutes even, if need be. That's when you might want to give your dog a Kong full of some sweets. The dog will normally lie down to take the sweets, and that's a nice calm situation. So you have to leave the house calm and leave your dog calm before you go. So we're building up small increments. We're going to leave the house for just 1 or 2 minutes. If your dog starts barking straight away, give it a couple of minutes, but train yourself when you re-enter the house, no eye contact with the dog, make sure you're nice and calm. And again, we're not making an event of this. It's almost like pretending you've never heard the dog barking. Now, if you can imagine if you'd done that all day, you were in and out the house all day, you had 1 day of training this completely, you will see a marked difference between how you left your dog in the morning, and by the time you've done all these exercises, maybe 20, 30 times in 1 day, you will see the difference in your dog's behaviour when you come back in and when you leave, and that's what we want to get to. But we're building up the time that you're outside the house in small increments. It might be 2 or 3 minutes to begin with. You've re-entered the house correctly. When your dog is eventually calm, you might be in the house 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes by the time the dog calms down. All that time you've ignored your dog, you've not given eye contact, you've not spoken to them, then your dog becomes calm. That's when you go from Jekyll to Hyde. That's when you say to your dog, good dog, let the dog out the kitchen or the crate or whatever. This is where we give praise, okay? So just to recap, no big event when you leave, no big event when you come home. These are the 2 biggest things that you must remember. Timing of when you praise is vital, okay? We don't want to be praising a dog for the behaviour and anxiety. It's kind of alien to most of us to leave a room full of people and not say goodbye. But you've got to remember, dogs don't have human emotions or a human way of thinking. They don't think you're being ignorant. You're helping your dog by leaving in a calm state and not making an event of it, okay? If your dog does have or suffers separation anxiety, then you may want to see a behaviourist or a specialist to help you with that, okay? But let's do the work just now to avoid it. Good luck, folks, and be in touch if you need any help at all. Thanks again.